Humanities 1610 is a unique educational opportunity meant to be adaptive to the world in which our Vanderbilt students live. The course fills a need that became all too apparent following the 9/11 moment. There are certain dynamic global concerns that are best served by a hyper-current class experience rather than a more traditional curriculum. And so the College of Arts and Sciences decided that they could provide funding and institutional space for professors to address the challenges of a rapidly changing global environment.
On a global scale, I mean, you can look at Russian intervention in US elections, Russian annexation of Crimea, intervention in Venezuela, Syria.
I've always been curious about how the fall of the Soviet Union impacted the rest of the world, because I understand it's like a massive world event that happened so recently that I haven't been able to get like a good historical perspective.
My parents immigrated from the Soviet Union in 1992, and this class is literally the study of the collapse of my parents' home country.
Well, I chose to take this class because I was entering my final semester my senior year, and I wanted to take something that was unlike the other classes I had taken so far at Vanderbilt.
The flexibility of the course allowed us as professors to expand our expertise and learn new educational techniques in a classroom environment which had funding to support media innovation.
Through different mediums with videos and archival TV news clips, I thought that the class wove together a lot of different narratives and mediums really well so that we can understand the broader picture.
A central goal of the Humanities 1610 model is to empower students to become producers of knowledge and to give them the opportunity to mold the final form of the course. Although the idea of flipping the classroom is a popular concept, we've been experimenting with many different forms of it. So for example, we encourage students to take the reins throughout the semester during improvised in-class group presentations, discussion sessions based on student responses to in-class online surveys, and we also incorporated technology like Top Hat, an interactive app that allows you to create word clouds and also take surveys.
I think a lot of the interactive media is interesting because it doesn't allow one voice to drown out. And I know in particular, I have a tendency to speak up and say things. And a lot of my friends do as well. But there were some opinions brought up and were displayed on the board where I was just never aware that people were thinking like that. And it really challenged me to open my eyes.
Drawing both on expert faculty at Vanderbilt and also experts outside of Vanderbilt, we aim to bring diverse perspectives to the classroom through guest speaker sessions and also a series of roundtable discussions and debates where we invited experts who held contrary opinions and perspectives to share their thoughts about a particular moment.
I thought the most interesting speaker that came to our class was Michael McFaul, who was the ambassador to Russia in the Obama administration. How many classes do you get where a person who was literally an ambassador for the United States come and speak to you about their experience and how they see the current political climate?
Yeah, I thought McFaul was a really incredible speaker. Not only an incredible public speaker, but he brought a lot of perspective that was just unique, and the ability to marry some of the history that we talked about with the actual policies and politics that are going on today.
I thought not only did having the guest speakers in the course really help us to understand the subject matter, but also specifically, I had the opportunity to eat lunch with Michael McFaul before his lecture, and that was really one of my favorite things that I've done at my time here at Vanderbilt.
The class benefited greatly from the tremendous resources of the Vanderbilt TV News Archive. Though I may remember Tom Brokaw broadcasting from the raucous street parties in Berlin in 1989 as the wall fell, our students certainly do not. With the funding that Humanities 1610 provided, we were able to hire a PhD student, Wcislo Lilic, to comb through this rich digital resource and create a new classroom experience, the video montage lecture.
It's extremely unique to sit down in a class and watch these videos about a time pretty recent to where we are today, but just outside of where we were born. And you can really get transported back to that historical moment. And you really get a sense of what was going on, what your parents were watching, what your professors were watching on the news. And it works in a way that a historical text just doesn't.
The multimedia final projects were devised to allow students to explore the course's subject matter on a deeper level. First, we had students complete a survey that asked them about their interests in specific historical themes and what kind of multimedia tools they wanted to use. We analyzed this data and we put them into groups and allowed the students to discuss their overlapping interests and brainstorm a project that resonated with their research goals. And then we guided them through the process of formulating, producing, and finalizing their unique multimedia projects.
And so within a group project, everybody's bringing not only a different set of skills, but a different set of views, from economics majors to political science majors to, in this case, Russian history majors. And that creates a group project and an understanding of the material encompassed by your group project that is just not available in other classes.
The fact that a big portion of the class was focused on a multimedia project that allowed us to work with different groups and people to explore an area that I didn't know before. It was very intriguing to me to allow myself to grow in that way.
And really having the opportunity to A, pick something that I was interested in, B, have the rest of my team also be, really chosen to fit into that dynamic because they were interested in the same thing, and C, have that length of period to work on it. All of those things were really impactful to, I think, me and my own learning experience.
When mentoring students on the final project, I emphasize the importance of selecting the right media by asking the question, why is the medium you selected the best possible fit for the material you want to explore and for the message you want to convey? By posing this question, I hope to encourage our students to think critically about the media they wanted to produce, and in turn, I hope they also started thinking critically about the media that they consume on a day-to-day basis.
Guiding students through the research process was the next step in creating thoughtful and scholarly multimedia projects from their initial interests. Each group articulated a research question to focus their inquiry and found primary sources, such as written documents, recorded speeches, or archived news reporting, and scholarly secondary sources that helped to answer that question. The annotated bibliographies that they wrote on these sources formed the intellectual core of their multimedia projects.
As a group project mentor, at first it was challenging to step back and let the projects develop as the students saw fit, because these projects were all so ambitious. Student groups were asking pressing research questions while experimenting with a spectrum of media, from interactive timelines to documentary films.
I was one of 5 members of the jury that actually evaluated students' presentations on the last day of class, and it was remarkable to witness the final moments of the class and the entire learning experience that the students have gone through. And the presentations clearly showed that their learning curve has been very steep throughout the semester. They utilized a number of audio-visual methods, integrated a lot of primary resources in their presentations, and we were all stunned by the overall quality of their work.
Odlaze synovi i kćeri,